Arsenal's stunning move for Kenan Yıldız. Arsenal fans, this could be one of the biggest transfer stories of the summer. Reports suggest Arsenal have made a formal inquiry about one of Europe's brightest young attacking talents, 21-year-old Kenan Yıldız. Welcome back to Arsenal Daily Talk, your #1 destination for the latest Arsenal transfer news, breaking updates, match analysis, and everything happening at the Emirates. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners! The Turkish international has become one of the most exciting young stars in Europe after impressing with Juventus FC. His pace, technical quality, creativity, and fearlessness have caught the attention of several elite clubs. But now Arsenal are reportedly among those showing serious interest. According to the latest reports, Mikel Arteta wants to strengthen Arsenal's attack with another versatile forward capable of playing on the left wing, as a number 10, or even across the front line. Yildiz perfectly fits that profile. At just 21 years old, he already possesses the confidence of an experienced international. His ability to beat defenders one-on-one, create chances, score spectacular goals, and link play has made him one of the hottest young talents in world football. Arsenal's recruitment team has built a reputation for identifying elite young players before they reach their absolute peak. We've seen it with players like Bukayo Saka developing through the academy, William Saliba becoming one of Europe's best defenders, and other young stars flourishing under Arteta. Could Kenan Yıldız be the next name on that list? Reports indicate Arsenal have now taken their interest a step further by making an inquiry regarding the possibility of a transfer. That doesn't necessarily mean negotiations are advanced. Instead, it's often the first stage of a transfer process where a club seeks to understand the player's availability, contract situation, and the likely transfer fee. And that's where things become incredibly complicated. Juventus reportedly have absolutely no desire to lose one of their brightest talents. The Italian giants see Yildiz as a future superstar and a central figure in their long-term project. That's why they recently secured him on a contract running until 2030. This gives Juventus enormous negotiating power. They are under no financial pressure to sell, they don't need to accept reduced offers, and any club hoping to sign him will likely have to break the bank. Reports suggest Juventus would only even consider discussions if offers exceeded €100 million. That figure immediately makes this one of the most expensive potential transfers Arsenal have ever explored. For comparison, Arsenal's current transfer record remains the signing of Declan Rice. Would the Gunners really be prepared to spend even more on a 21-year-old attacker? That's the question many supporters are asking. However, modern football is increasingly built around investing in elite young talent. If Arsenal genuinely believe Yildiz can become one of the world's best attackers over the next decade, perhaps such an investment could make sense. But there are still many obstacles before any move becomes realistic. In Part 2, we'll analyse exactly why Arteta wants Kenan Yıldız, how he would fit into Arsenal's tactical system, and whether he could become Arsenal's next superstar. Don't go anywhere, and if you're excited about this potential move, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and tell us in the comments. Would you spend more than €100 million to bring Kenan Yıldız to Arsenal? Why Mikel Arteta wants Kenan Yıldız? Welcome back, Gunners. Let's continue breaking down one of the biggest Arsenal transfer stories making headlines. Remember, while Arsenal have reportedly made an inquiry, no agreement has been reached, and Juventus still consider Kenan Yıldız a key part of their future plans. So if Arsenal are genuinely exploring this deal, it's easy to understand why Mikel Arteta would be interested. Over the last few seasons, Arteta has transformed Arsenal into one of Europe's strongest teams. But despite the progress, many supporters believe the squad still needs another elite attacker, someone capable of changing games with individual brilliance. Kenan Yıldız fits that description. At just 21 years old, the Turkish international combines technical ability, flair, confidence and versatility. He is comfortable playing on the left wing, drifting into central attacking areas, operating behind the striker or switching positions during matches. That positional flexibility is something Arteta values enormously. Just look at Arsenal's current attacking players. Bukayo Saka dominates from the right. Gabriel Martinelli provides explosive pace on the left. Leandro Trossard offers creativity and intelligent movement. Kai Havertz can play as both a striker and attacking midfielder. Adding Yildiz would give Arsenal another unpredictable weapon capable of rotating across multiple positions. Imagine defenders trying to stop an attack featuring Saka on one side and Yildiz on the other. Both players love taking defenders on. Both are technically gifted. Both can score goals and create chances. That would give Arsenal even more variety in the final third. Another reason Arteta may admire Yildiz is his composure under pressure. Despite his young age, he has already played in high-pressure matches for Juventus and represented Turkey on the international stage. Those experiences accelerate a player's development. Arsenal are no longer rebuilding. They are competing for Premier League and Champions League trophies. Any new signing must be ready for that level. Yildiz appears to have the mentality to embrace those expectations. His close control allows him to escape tight spaces. His first touch creates opportunities where others see none. He isn't afraid to shoot from distance, thread difficult passes, or drive directly at defenders. Those qualities can unlock stubborn defences, something Arsenal occasionally struggled with when opponents defended deep. There's also another important factor. Arteta has consistently targeted young players with world-class potential rather than established stars nearing the end of their peak years. Players like Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, William Saliba and Riccardo Calafiori all fit that long-term vision. Yildiz would fit the same recruitment strategy. He wouldn't simply be a signing for next season, he could become one of Arsenal's attacking leaders for many years. However, there is one enormous obstacle standing in Arsenal's way. Juventus don't want to lose him. Reports suggest the Italian giants see Yildiz as one of the faces of their future project. His contract runs until 2030, giving Juventus complete control over the situation. That means Arsenal cannot rely on the player entering the final years of his contract. Instead, they would likely have to convince Juventus with a truly exceptional offer. Figures of more than €100 million have been mentioned in reports, which would make this one of the biggest transfers in Arsenal's history if it ever happened. Whether Arsenal are willing to spend that kind of money remains uncertain. For now, this story is one to watch rather than a deal close to completion. In Part 3, we'll examine whether Arsenal could realistically afford a move for Kenan Yıldız, which players might leave to fund such a transfer, and how serious the competition from other European giants could become. Before you go, let us know in the comments. If Arsenal could only make one blockbuster signing this summer, would you choose Kenan Yıldız or another world-class attacker? Don't forget to subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk for all the latest Arsenal transfer updates. Can Arsenal really afford Kenan Yıldız? Welcome back to Arsenal Daily Talk. This is where the story gets even more fascinating because while Arsenal's reported interest in Kenan Yıldız has excited fans, turning that interest into a completed transfer would be an enormous challenge. Let's talk about the biggest question of all. Can Arsenal realistically sign Kenan Yıldız? On paper, Arsenal are one of Europe's strongest financial clubs. Thanks to consecutive seasons in the UEFA Champions League, increased commercial revenue and the backing of the Krinker ownership, the Gunners are in a healthier financial position than they were a few years ago. But even with those advantages, spending more than €100 million on a single player is a huge decision. Juventus reportedly value Yildiz as one of the most important players in their long-term project. His contract runs until 2030, meaning the Italian giants are under no pressure to sell. That changes everything. Normally, clubs negotiate because a player has only 1 or 2 years left on his contract. In this case, Juventus hold all the cards. If they don't receive an extraordinary offer, they can simply keep one of their brightest stars. From Arsenal's perspective, any move would likely require careful planning. The club may need to balance the books through player sales before making another blockbuster signing. Several first-team players have been linked with possible departures in recent transfer windows, and selling squad players could help generate additional funds. However, whether Arsenal would raise enough money to finance a deal of this size remains uncertain. Another challenge is competition. Whenever a player of Kenan Yıldız's quality becomes available, Europe's biggest clubs are usually watching closely. Arsenal may not be the only team monitoring his situation if circumstances change in the future. That means sporting ambition, regular playing time, and Arteta's project could all become important factors, not just money. There is also the question of priorities. Many Arsenal supporters still believe the club's biggest need is a proven centre-forward who can consistently score 25 to 30 goals a season. Others feel adding another elite winger would make the squad even more dangerous across all competitions. If Arsenal had to choose between signing a world-class striker or investing over €100 million in Yildiz, what would be the smarter decision? That's a debate fans are already having. What makes Yildiz so attractive is not only his current ability, but also his potential. At just 21 years old, he could develop into one of Europe's elite attackers over the next decade. For Arsenal, that long-term upside could justify a significant investment if Juventus were ever willing to negotiate. However, it's important to remember where things stand today. Reports suggest Arsenal have made an inquiry, but there is no confirmed bid, no agreement with Juventus, and no indication that a transfer is close. Interest is one thing. Completing a deal of this magnitude is another entirely. So while this is certainly a transfer story worth following, Arsenal fans should treat it as an evolving rumour rather than an imminent signing. In Part 4, we'll reveal how Kenan Yıldız could fit into Mikel Arteta's strongest starting 11, compare him with Arsenal's current attackers, and give our final verdict on whether this blockbuster move is realistic. Before you leave, tell us your opinion in the comments. Would you spend over €100 million on Kenan Yıldız, or would you rather Arsenal invest that money in a world-class striker? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer news. Should Arsenal go all in for Kenan Yıldız? Welcome back, Gunners! We've covered the reported inquiry, the financial challenge, and why Mikel Arteta could admire Kenan Yıldız. Now it's time to answer the biggest question. Should Arsenal make this deal happen if the opportunity arises? Imagine an Arsenal attack featuring Bukayo Saka on the right, Kenan Yıldız on the left, and a top-class striker leading the line. That front three would combine pace, creativity, technical quality, and unpredictability. Yildiz is the type of player who loves receiving the ball in tight spaces. He isn't afraid to take on defenders, drive into the penalty area, or attempt the difficult pass that unlocks a stubborn defence. Those are qualities Arsenal occasionally need when opponents sit deep with 10 men behind the ball. His versatility is another major advantage. Although he's most comfortable starting from the left, Yildiz can also play as an attacking midfielder, a second striker, or even switch flanks during a match. That tactical flexibility fits perfectly with Mikel Arteta's fluid attacking system, where players constantly rotate positions to create space. But there's another reason Arsenal may be attracted to him. Arteta isn't just building a team for one season, he's building a squad capable of competing for the Premier League and UEFA Champions League year after year. At only 21 years old, Yildiz still has enormous room to improve. If he reaches his full potential, Arsenal could have one of Europe's elite attackers for the next decade. However, football transfers aren't based on talent alone. The financial reality cannot be ignored.